Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, so unfortunately it took me very long time to make this video. I promised to you that I will say a bit more about my conversion to Islam, how I become Muslim. I'll try to make this video in 2 or maybe even 3 parts. I'm trying not to, because unfortunately I don't have too much time, so I'll try my best not to talk too much, so you have to also you don't have to also listen too much to it in each part. Yeah, I have to apologize also if it will be bit chaos, but obviously, I didn't write this down or anything. I'm just saying, obviously, from my head, from my memory. So like, hopefully I try to talk kind of like so you can understand actually, the time and place and everything, different parts. Yeah, so let's start. So when I become Muslim, well, that was in 2006. In 2006. Yeah, in 2006, in July. That I remember very well. It was nice hot summer. I went that time for what is called, like I can say like that in English, Muslim camp, which was like Muslim camp holiday actually, or holidays for the Muslims, something like that. It has been organized by the Polish Association of Muslims or something like that. Again, I don't remember the name exactly, but this was organized by them once in the year, in summer, most of the time in the summertime. And and I get to know about that, so I went there, and then I took my shahada there. So that, very quickly in the beginning, just to explain when it's happened. So like, well, from the beginning, yeah. So when I was like around 13, I was like around 13, 12, 13 years old. Very first time when I met any Muslim or I get to know anything about the Islam, it was actually quite funny, because there was one, obviously at that point in Poland, which is maybe hardly for you to imagine if you live like here in England or anywhere else abroad. In Poland at that time it was very, very few people from abroad, I could say, or specifically also Muslims. It was very, very, very less. So so it was actually very unusual to meet any Muslim actually. So yeah, so in my school that time it came one boy, his name was Said, and obviously, unfortunately, because he was the only one child that looks different, let's be honest. Obviously, he was a bit, he was brown, he was, because his father was from what I get to know later on, his daddy was from Iraq. I think he was from Iraq, yeah. And so he was half Iraqi, half Polish. So he came to our school, and obviously because he was different, he looks a bit different, and he grew up a little bit in Iraq. I think till age of 10 or 11 he lived in Iraq with his daddy, with his father and his mother. So he has a little bit kind of like accent, not like Polish one. So you can actually, when you talk to him, you can realize that actually he born and he grew up he spent a little bit time abroad basically. So so the other children, they were kind of like bullying him, a bit like laughing, "Oh, you talk a bit different than us, you look a bit different to us," and things like that. So obviously, I like him very much, and then because he was different, I was always like that. That is also just kind of amazing. Just because he was different, I like him. I have like kind of sense like that. I don't know why, that I like different people. Meaning like I was maybe the only one child in the school that I was actually not bullying him. So yeah, so when I see that the other children, they bullying him, I went to him and I said, "Look, listen, if you will have any problems, just came to me, and then I'll try to sort it out." Which is of course a bit funny, because at that point I just said like that because I want to become his friend, and obviously in the back of my head it was like, obviously, if some elder kids, they will be bullying him, how I can protect him basically. but yeah, I told him that, and he says, "Yeah, okay, thank you." And yeah, so like, I started talking to him. I asked him, then he told me my dad is from Iraq, this and that. And then later on, because I love actually geography, and I like to read about the different countries, different cultures, and stuff like that. At that time it was coming out in the Polish shops magazine, that it was about the geography and about different cultures and about the different languages. It was a magazine for the children. So my mom, she was buying to me because it was coming out once in the week in the shops. Each week was different letter from the alphabet. So at that point it was the letter I, Islam. And so my mom, she purchased for me that magazine, and when I opened it, I start checking what is inside. On one of the pages it was about the Islam, Iraq, I remember, and I think about Iran. So so I started reading, and at that point even I didn't realize that there was in the corner, in the corner of the page, they put picture of the manuscript of the Quran, which now I know that was the I think Surah Al-Fatiha or Al-Ikhlas, I don't remember exactly, but one of the short chapters. So yeah, I just get amazed when I look at that. I say, oh wow, because it was written under it that is it was actually, I think, written that is from the Quran, but it was written that is in the Arabic and this and that. So, but I think it was not written which chapter it is or anything like that, or which ayah, which verse. So what I did, it was also quite amazing. I just, I liked it so much. So like I look at it and I just took piece of paper and the pen and I start actually writing. I tried to copy. And so that's it. And then I read obviously about, like I say, about Islam. They just write very basic informations about the Hajj, about the fasting, about the prayers, very, very basic things. So at that point I thought, what, this is and already back of my head it was that there is that guy in my school that I become friend with him, Said, and unfortunately at that point he was kind of naughty. He was not that very kind of we're friends, but he was, when I was asking him about the Islam, for some reason, I don't know why, he was not talking too much to me. Not he was getting upset, but I don't know, maybe he was a bit sensitive because obviously other kids, they were bullying him, and I guess maybe at that point they already know he's Muslim, so maybe also because of that. So anyway, so what happened is I started talking to him, and then I thought, what, I want to meet Muslims, there's also a picture of the mosque. Obviously at that point in Poland there was maybe just 2 mosques, that's all, and it was Muslims was really, really less, as I said in the beginning. So so it took me nearly 1 year, so you can imagine it was quite difficult, and I didn't give up, even I was just 13, so you can also imagine that also you think, wow, this boy who was just 13 and he spent nearly 1 year to look for Muslims. So I start looking for the Muslims, and I couldn't find anyone. And obviously that at that point it was no Facebook, no Instagram, no anything like that. It was very difficult even to search anything on internet. I think at that point in 2006, so like I said, I was 13, it was 2004 actually, 2003, 2004. So at that point I think it was just Windows 2000 come out. So the internet was very basic basically. So at that point also we were going, me and my brother, for kind of IT classes where you can use different computers. They were teaching us about the Windows, and 1 spare hour it was that you can sit on the computer, which was funny. It was just only 1 computer in the room that actually has access to the internet. So to say, each child has 1 hour, or I think even half an hour, to sit and and do something on the internet. Basically just to play with it, because obviously that time no one knows actually that much about the internet, stuff like that, so we're just playing with it. But because I already read that magazine about the when it was on one of the pages about the Islam and Quran and everything, I decided to search about Islam. I just typed Islam, and what first come up, it was some website of the Polish Muslim Association or something like that. And on that website they put you can play online Quran recitation, which at that time I don't know that is Quran recitation or anything like that. And what is funny, what's happened, when I clicked there, I didn't realize that the speakers of the computer, they were quite loud, the volume was up. So it was just the room was small, it was maybe 10 other children and the teacher. So I played that recording of the Quran and it was so loud, everyone turned, and including the teacher, and they said, "Oh, Thomas, what you are doing?" Because they were shocked. So I feel kind of embarrassed, because I also don't know this will be that loud and everything. And so I each time when I was coming once in the week for that classes, when I have that spare I said, I think half an hour or maybe 1 hour, I think half an hour just on the computer on the internet, I was using that, always going on this website, trying to read a little bit and playing that Quran. I just like it. And at that point also I don't know that it was Muhammad Ayub, the person that was reciting. So yeah, so I was doing that once in the week and still trying to find some Muslims. Yeah, so it took me nearly 1 year. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll stop here because, like I said, unfortunately, I'm looking at the clock. I don't have too much time. So this will be the part 1 and just the beginning. If you have any questions, you can comment below. Please subscribe because I have, unfortunately, very less subscribers and followers. And if you have any questions, you can write, you can comment below, subscribe. And yeah, that's it. Inshallah, I'll try either today in the evening or maybe perhaps even tomorrow because it's weekend, so I'll have more time to record part 2. And yeah, I think that's everything as for now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.